Hey weeklies, this is Weekly Stars here. Today guys, I'm gonna be talking about the Ironmouse situation. Let's get into it. So, I want to talk about the situation because I feel like this is a good opportunity to talk about the landscape of YouTube and the internet and Twitter and just everything. And pretty much all my grievances I have with the platforms and people. So Ironmouse has been getting bullied a lot on social media by like other people, and it's been like crazy bullying. And I see it all over the place. Like, I want to talk about this because this also is the case for so many content creators across like YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, the list goes on. And I think the reason why it's like this, we have to get to the foundation. This entire digital landscape is built off of the foundation of judging stuff, criticizing stuff, and I feel like it's turned into this disgusting thing where people try to justify their bullying, or they try to kind of bully so they can themselves feel better. You see, that's the problem I've realized. When people bully, throughout my entire experience with hate comments and all that stuff, people bully because they want to feel better. They want to get a chuckle. They want to laugh. They just want to laugh, and they just want to like laugh at someone else's expense because they can't find happiness in any other way other than laughing at someone else's expense. That's really the reason. I feel like that's the core reason people don't talk about as to why people bully a lot. Like even like people like Ironmouse, or maybe they feel deep inside they feel very jealous or envious of what Ironmouse has, and it's causing them to like their inner world to like break, because if they believe that Ironmouse does deserve what she has, they will themselves think of themselves like, wait, but if Ironmouse did this, that means I have to admit to myself that I failed at my own life. If they admit that Ironmouse is a winner in the VTuber atmosphere, they will themselves have to admit to themselves that I was making excuses for myself for my whole life, and that it's like, see, it all comes from jealousy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's envious. It's jealousy. That's really all it is. It's because they themselves don't feel secure within themselves, so they put others down so that they can feel secure. That's really all it comes down to. It's either they just want to chuckle, they want to laugh, and they genuinely feel like, I guess, sad in some cases, and they just want to use the internet to like laugh at others because they see what other people do, and then they just follow the train of laughing at people. Or they just genuinely feel bad about their lives, and they want to put others down so they can themselves feel better. And another reason is because this platform and social media, this is what I hate about it, is built off of the foundation of judging things, judging people, judging each other. And that's what I've noticed a lot growing these days. Everyone is always just judging each other. There's no just, oh, let's have fun and let's make content, let's enjoy the internet. No, it's always like people are judging left and right. They're criticizing left and right. And they're doing it all to get these views, to get these likes, to get these comments, to get this reaction. Like, I guess you could say even I'm a hypocrite because I'm making this. But in a way, I'm making this to go against that narrative. Because I feel like the problem is, people who are attacking Ironmouse, they don't realize what they're doing. Or maybe they do. They get like energized off of the idea of putting Ironmouse down, or putting others down, because maybe they feel just like very angry. I feel like honestly, if they're angry about Ironmouse, it's because they're not happy with their own life. So I think the problem is really these people are just not happy with their lives, and they're probably like afraid, or they don't do things to better their lives. They don't take the time to self-reflect because they're afraid to go deep in their thoughts and self-reflect on everything they've done and what they are. It's like a mental illness pandemic going on. I feel like that's why it's getting worse, and it sucks. People are not educated enough to realize that, like, judging people's, all that stuff is bad, and like accepting people is a better way to go. And I feel like part of it has been getting worse, honestly, because a lot of times I feel like even on Twitter, like, there's so much people judging each other and just putting each other down. And I remember this one thing Connor said in the video, and it's so true. It's like, we're already going through hell. Why are we making it worse? You see, I don't get why people like to make things worse. The fact of the matter is, it's like, we are all living our own different lives. I feel like what happens in society, here's what happens. Like, even with me, I've dealt with this my whole life. What happens is in society, we're all taught to, like, quote unquote, follow the rules. We're all taught of, like, all these, like, you know, this conditioning from society. Society tells us how our worth is equated to this thing, how our worth as a person is equated to chasing this thing, how our worth is equated to doing this, how our worth is equated to doing that. And so the problem is, when you equate our worth, when the whole world is equating our worth to those things that we do, things that we can achieve, things, equating our worth to this, we're all raised from a very young age to equate our worth to external things. And you all know that equating your worth to external things is a recipe for disaster. And then I think what happens is mix that societal conditioning with these haters who it's probably like a psychotic loop of, like, they feel like their worth is meaningless. So to feel more worthy, they go on the internet behind a keyboard, and it in a way it simulates that feeling of worth that they never got, because their whole life is probably based on the narrative of your worth is only worth if you do this. So and it makes sense too, because if you think about Ironmouse, she's succeeding in things, and so they see that as Ironmouse has a lot of worth, more than me, because they see everyone supporting Ironmouse. And so I think what happens is, when they see that shit, they start to feel bad, because they were taught their whole life that their worth is equated to all of these external things or their achievements. But see, that's the problem. I feel like the problem is at the core fundamental level of how our society is being run. We need to understand our worth. That's really what I think happens, because I feel like our worth isn't really dependent on the things we achieve, the things we do, even the value we bring. I really don't think even that defines it. I feel like our worth is bigger than that, because, like, for example, look at a sunset. Let's say everyone disappeared the next morning, no one was alive. That sunset would still have worth. So I feel like our worth isn't really dependent on how others see us. But I think that's what a lot of haters, trolls, people are failing to realize. People who are even bullying Ironmouse, I feel like these people really, they're just coming from a place of, they feel fucking hurt. And, you know, it doesn't really justify their acts of, like, if they're doing crazy shit, like trying to, like, dox her or, you know, harm her in any way. I feel like that's too far. I've seen people make, like, death threats. That's too far. I don't know why people go that far. But I get where the original mindset is coming from. And I just want to say, if any of you are struggling out there, just know your worth should not be defined on external things. If you see someone succeed, don't let that take away from your worth, because that's not your worth is not dependent on if you're successful in society or not. I know everyone is probably saying the opposite right now. Everyone's like, no. You need success. You need to find a successful career. You need to get a fucking girlfriend, a boyfriend. Everyone in society says this shit. But listen, I honestly believe, like, firmly, that our worth is not dependent on that. Our worth is bigger than that. And as for Ironmouse, I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this shit. I'm really, 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 really sorry that you're dealing with this shit, because I know how it feels to just have fucking people hate you constantly. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't have the right words to say it. I know making this video is gonna bring hate, but, you know, it's part of the thing. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. But really, I feel like what everyone's missing is just some deep self-reflection. on themselves and everything. And I know, like me saying this, they're probably not gonna listen. That's the sad truth of it. Like, people don't listen because they're so deeply rooted in their mindsets of tearing someone else down, you know, and not questioning anything. Because the fact that they're even doing that already shows you, like, how much they're not gonna change. And I think the sad truth is some of these people just will never change. And it's hard because, you know, you want to exist in the world and do things, but you always have these people who are coming in trying to spoil all the fun, trying to ruin all the fun. You know, it's crazy because it's like we're all the same species. That's why I always come back to. It's like we're all humans. Like none of us are better than another. We're just all the same species. You know, I don't know. I think it's pretty crazy how Ironmouse is getting so much hate because it's like Ironmouse is one of my favorite VTubers. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, she inspired me a lot. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to see that because I remember, like, you know, remixing her in my weekly tune channel. You know, she's always been a one of my favorites because, you know, she's always just been, you know, I just think she's entertaining. I feel like people, like, don't look at what she does that much, or they just see, like, a fictional VTuber. They just take that as a sign to just relentlessly bully. The idea of bullying, it gives people such a strong dopamine rush that it, like, fuels them so badly to the point to where they'll almost do anything to hate on something. And I think it's because of everything I just said. Maybe from the core fundamental level, they just struggle with self-worth because of how society has conditioned us to not have self-worth. And it makes sense. It makes sense. But damn, you know, it still always will sting. Another core problem is on Twitter, YouTube, all of it. I already said this. I think I said it like a few times, but I'm going to repeat it because I want to talk about it more. The internet is based on the foundation of judgment. I feel like the problem is we're always judging things because that's what's normalized. We don't see any problem in it because we're all doing it, because we all just decided to randomly accept it. But, like, all of us are always judging things. And I realize it's happening so much. Like, someone's like, this person's bad, this dude's doing this, this VTuber is cringe, weird, And the problem is, dude, I don't get it. I don't get why people are judging everything, because the fact of the matter is, dude, none of us are going to ever be the same as one another. Like, a lot of us have different life experiences. A lot of us have different reasons as to why we're doing what we're doing. Ironmouse is doing what she's doing because maybe she always loved anime. She can't help that she loves anime. She loves anime, so she became a VTuber. She's afraid to show her face, so that makes sense to become a VTuber. She likes singing, so she does singing VTuber stuff. Like, see, people need to realize that everyone has a different way of living life and viewing life. Like, for example, let's say you go on YouTube, you see someone making a video with a can of soup on their head. Some people may judge that and be like, why the fuck? You're so weird. This is stupid. This is dumb. But the truth of the matter is, you don't know why that person's wearing a can of soup on their head. Do you? Can you tell me right now, like, why you think, oh, because they're crazy? No, it's because maybe they're doing it because they're trying to be funny. Maybe they're doing it because maybe they just have this fashion sense that no one else really gets. Maybe it's like part of some very niche group where people like cans of soup. I don't know. But, like, does it really matter? Like, if you judge them, it's like, what's that accomplish? Even if you judge that person who's wearing a can of soup, all you'll ever achieve is making this person feel very depressed and anxious to be themselves. That's all you will ever achieve if you judge that person with a can of soup on their head. Like, seriously, what do you accomplish? Like, you'll just make the world a worse place. That's all you accomplish. That's why I've always argued. It's like, it doesn't matter how weird people are or what they fucking do. Who gives a shit? Are they hurting people? No, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? They're not hurting someone, dude. Let them wear the can of soup on their head. Why you gotta make a whole video judging them and fucking tearing them down and fucking all this shit? And it's like, oh my god. Making like a fucking paragraph comment as to why they're bad and shit. I don't get these people, man. It's like, why you gotta make all these fucking like passive aggressive comments to them too? It's like, I see that all the time. It's like comments that are trying to be disguised as good, but really they're just passive aggressive. The problem on the internet is, dude, everyone's always judging each other left and right, and it's getting to a point to where it's kind of ridiculous. I feel like that's why the internet's honestly getting worse. I don't even go on YouTube as much because I just see like drama videos everywhere. Drama. And it's like, dude, give it a fucking rest. But I think overall, what I'm just trying to say is just, the internet is just losing control lately. Back in the day, it really wasn't this bad. I honestly don't believe it was this bad. Because it was bad, right? It was bad at times, but it wasn't this bad. Like, it feels like nowadays, it's like more of a dread feeling going on the internet. Like, back then, there was haters, there was, drama here and there, yeah. But it wasn't this fucking bad. Back then, it felt more fun. It was more fun at least. Nowadays, it doesn't really feel as fun. It feels more like a burden to deal with, and that's why I'm trying to go on the internet less and less and try to like focus more on my own life, because it's just crazy nowadays. Like, the haters, like I'm honestly kind of afraid to like even become popular at this point, because I know it's just gonna bring a lot of that shit. It's crazy because Ironmouse is one of my favorite VTubers, and to see one of my favorite VTubers going through all that shit, it really breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart because, she's accomplished a lot of things. I mean, it happens, like, I kind of see it as like, whatever, like, not trying to like downplay her success, but it's like, like, she accomplished things. Cool. Like, I'm happy for her, I don't know why people can't just say that. Why they gotta like be hateful and shit? Why they gotta like dox her and fucking hate her and fucking be super aggressive? You realize, like, even me, look at my example. Like, I get jealous a lot of times. Right? I do. I'm still working on that. And I don't go out my way to send hate to anyone. I literally don't. I don't go in their comments trying to be like, freak you for succeeding in something that I didn't. Like, I'm just like, it's whatever. We're all human at the end of the day. No one's better. I don't believe anyone's better than anyone else. My worth isn't dependent on my successes. That's what you have to keep reminding yourself, If you want to work on your jealousy problem or envy problem, you just have to realize that at the end of the day, Ironmouse is just a human. I'm just a human. Blah, 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 it's just a human. You're just a human. It's just a human. Everyone's just a human. Our achievements don't make us better. Honestly, our achievements are just our achievements. Our achievements are just achievements. They're not something that immediately makes us God. You know what I mean? That's how I think of it. That's genuinely how I start to think of it. Like, even my achievements, I don't think of myself as better than anyone else. I really don't. I'm just like, oh, I achieved something cool. I'm happy. I'll celebrate for a bit, I'll obviously be like, yeah. But like, I know at the end of the day, like, I'm not better than anyone else just because I achieved something. And I think that's what people need to start realizing, like, all these achievements and shit, if you see someone else achieving something that you couldn't, I know how it feels, because it's like, shit, you feel hurt because, they're achieving things you're not. Know that just because someone else is achieving something, it doesn't mean that they're better than you. Remember, they're not better than you. No, you're not better than them. No one's better than anyone. If you remember that, you'll be fine. I feel like the internet, it is really bad nowadays because we're always in comparison mode when we're on the internet. That's what I've realized the most. Everyone is on comparison mode. Everyone's trying to like judge each other, judge everyone, and it gets to a point to where it's toxic, It gets to a point to where it's very toxic. I see that all the time on Twitter. People is trying to everyone's trying to feel good by doing negative things that harm others. That's what I've realized. That's where the core of the drama I've seen. Everyone's trying to feel good by doing bad things. Everyone's trying to feel good by avoiding the hard work. And I think it's because people are scared of hard work. And I get it, because I was scared of hard work too. I was. In the past, I was scared of hard work, and sometimes I still was, because it's scary to think about it. But I want you all to know, like, hard work doesn't have to be scary. If you really, I mean this, if you take it one step at a time, you don't have to dedicate your life to just being on the internet, being hateful and like nitpicking everyone and like drama and bullying and all that shit. Hard work is scary, but listen, that's why you have to take it one step at a time. Even with me, I have an animation channel. Animation is hard work. I was terrified of it, but I realized I actually can do it. It's just I have to take it one step at a time. I have to be extremely gentle with myself, and I have to take my time. I can't rush it. I can't stress myself out, because it's not the hard work that I'm scared of. It's the stress that comes with the hard work. So how I combat that is I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be stressed out doing this hard work, I'm gonna be more comforting to myself. I'm gonna find ways to make it less stressful. And that way hard work won't seem like a big mountain to overcome. I won't focus on the big picture. I'll focus on the next step forward. You see, like, I feel like a lot of people are just scared of hard work, because that's the truth. Because a lot of people would rather go on the internet, like, judging someone else's life, looking at someone else's life and judging them and trying to make them look like they're in a bad light because of their, like, own beliefs and all that shit. And they're trying to like bully them because they want to feel good, instead of realizing, yo, I have my own life to live. People don't realize that they have their own life. They have their own life. Like, people need to realize how amazing it is that you're even alive, breathing with a beating heart right now. You know, a lot of people need to really take a step back and look at that. Like, the fact we're all alive, you know? And I know it's hard because, you know, we all dealt through a hard life. So I think that's what happened too. Maybe a lot of these people dealt with a hard life. Maybe it's just that, bro. Maybe they've seen shit that like no other human should see. Maybe they've been traumatized by a bunch of different fucking things. And so they fucking go on the internet to get that relief, to get that little fucking boost of relief. And I fucking get it, dude. It's so fucking hard. But like, all this trauma, all that shit, that's why we have to be gentle with ourselves and just take the next best step forward. That's why I said, like, we can do hard things. I am one of those people where I was traumatized, dude. I was traumatized a lot in my life. I was depressed a lot in my life. I anxious and all that shit. But what helped me conquer all that. It's hard, but it's just a lot of deep self-reflection and just taking little steps, you know? That's what I've always done. I just wish people would do the same on the internet instead of like getting into drama. But we all know these people won't stop, honestly. So my best advice is, dude, just try your best to just realize the truth of where they're coming from. These people aren't talking about you. You have to realize that. In a way, they're not talking about you. They're talking about themselves. Because what they're doing is they're looking at you and they are forming this fake narrative in their head, and they're trying to kind of put it on you in your comments, in your replies, and whatever. They're like trying to form this story in their head, like their own little story, and they're trying to put it on the internet and kind of rage bait and try to get all this attention and likes and shit. They're only doing that to better themselves. It's not about you. Everything that they're saying isn't really true. Cause seriously, look at all the hate comments. Normally, they all come from a place of opinion. They're acting like what they're saying is fact. That's what a lot of haters do, a lot of trolls do. For example, let's say someone goes in your comments and says you're cringe. When they say you're cringe, they don't really mean that you're cringe. It just means they're forming this narrative in their head that like, oh, in my opinion, in my own personal way of how I view life, because of my insecurities, I think that you're cringe because you're not living like the rest of us. And it's like, but in reality, no one's really normal, dude. No one in the world is going to be all the same. How can you say something is cringe? In reality, cringe doesn't really exist. It's just, the problem is people don't realize this, but when people call things cringe or weird or all that shit is, bro, it's just opinions. One person may look at this, let's say you got like a pair of headphones on the screen. Some people may say that those are cringe headphones. But then you got some people like those are very, very, very fun headphones, exciting and interesting headphones. See, nothing is really cringe. It all comes from personal perspective. It may be cringe to you, but it's not cringe to the rest of the world. It may be weird to you, but it's not weird to the rest of the world. So when you see these hate comments, realize where they're coming from. Realize when they put these hate comments, those aren't the people you want to be around with anyways. Realize that, number one. And number two, that these people, all that shit is coming from opinions. It's not facts. When they say all these hateful shit to you, when they say all this mean shit to you, when they judge you, when they fucking relentlessly bully you, realize that all that shit isn't factual. I mean, that's the secret to dealing with hate comments and all that shit. That's how I deal with it anyway. And you also have to realize, like, it's like what I said in the beginning, right? When people judge, they're conditioned to believe that their worth, that their self-worth is aligned with, achievements and external factors. And so if you know where all of these things are coming from, you'll be better equipped to handle them, because you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, that's what you mean. Oh, that's why you're saying this. Oh, that's why you're doing this. Oh, that's why you're being hateful. Oh, that's why you're making fun of me. Oh, you see what I mean? If you know the origins of why they're doing that shit, then you'll be better equipped to handle trolls and haters, and you'll be better equipped to, fight for your career or your whatever you gotta do. I noticed, because I've been trying to, honestly, in a way, I've been psychoanalyzing haters for the longest time, because I'm like, I don't understand you. I never understood the haters, and it's that not understanding them that made it so much harder to deal with, because it made me believe that I was actually maybe just a bad person. But I realized when I got to the core and crux as to why they are being the way they are, then it got so much easier to handle the hate comments. And so that's what you have to do. I know it's going to be hard, because sometimes even I still get affected by hate comments. I can't lie, like sometimes I do. But when I remember where they're coming from, it gets a bit easier to handle. And I hope that helps you. I really do. So, alright, weeklies, thanks for watching. And as for the Ironmouse situation, I believe it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's all over the fucking internet, man. It's crazy. Like, Ironmouse, I'm very sorry. Like, I know I said this, but I'm very sorry you have to deal with that shit. No one should have to deal with any of that shit. Keep streaming, keep doing your thing if you want to. If you need to take breaks, just take breaks. If taking breaks is what you have to do, take those breaks. You're already super successful, so take breaks when you can. You don't have to subject yourself to all that shit nonstop your whole entire life. Take breaks if you need to. And that goes for any VTuber. Take breaks if you need to. If it's really, really, really that bad, take breaks, because it's not worth it to get yourself worked up and depressed and angry over comments, man. I've been. Oh my god, I've been in the past, I used to be very depressed and angry over comments. But, after a while, dude, it's not worth it. It's not worth losing your breath, losing your sleep, losing your sanity over, what some random stranger across the world says. I'm serious. They don't know you. You don't know them. Why are we trying to impress these people we know nothing about? Why are we trying to impress these people who have no direct benefit to our life whatsoever? Why are we trying to impress these people that we don't know? Why are we trying to impress these people that don't even live our life? That's why once you ask yourself those questions, it will be a lot easier to handle hate and negativity and all that shit. So I just want you all to know that, and know, dude, at the end of the day, this is a simple advice my friend gave me. And if all else fails, just remember this: they're just assholes. Literally, just think they're just assholes. I know, that's a simple advice, but dude, if all else fails, think they're just assholes. They're just assholes. Because if they were true, good people, they would lift you up. They're just assholes. Literally, just think they're assholes. If all else fails, I'm serious. Because if the fact that they're making you feel like shit instead of lifting you up is already a red flag. It's in itself. They're just assholes. But anyways, thanks for watching, weeklies. I hope this video honestly taught you some stuff, or even helped you with hate. And I hope it helped Ironmouse too, if she's watching, I don't know. But yeah, this is my opinion on the Ironmouse situation. Just wanted to give my 2 cents in because, you know, this is something I think, like, I wanted an opportunity to jump on and talk about too. Yeah, I'm a fan of Ironmouse. People's gonna be like, oh, you're a fan of Ironmouse, you're a fan of that fucking... I'm like, yes, I am. Whatever, asshole. Anyway, see what I did there. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Links are in the description. I love you, weeklies to death, and weeklies, don't forget to stay awesome.